Again. Hi, Parker. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today, Bonnie?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for your time today. To say that this movie was heartbreaking and wow, like really, your performance from where you went in the beginning to where you went near the end there. Well done, my friend. Really, really good.
Thank you.
What was it about this story, this script, like that just kind of touched your heart and said, wow, I got to do this?
Well, I think what you said about the progression of Sam's character does have a lot to do with it. The fact that there is such an arc between the beginning, kind of the middle end, where, there's a portion of the movie where it strays away from the topic of teenage pregnancy and it
Yes.
moves into the topic of an absentee father, trying to fill the shoes of the idea that you have for someone, this icon, so to speak, that you've created in your head,
Yeah.
and wanting to do those things and create those same memories for a potential child. I had the pleasure of working with Tony in the past on my first feature film, Surviving Lunch. So I knew that there was a visionary behind it who had great passion for film and really had a story that he wanted to tell. So as soon as I received that text from him and he sent me the script, I knew it's something I had to be a part of.
Yeah, and as you say, it couldn't be more timely, like because obviously what's going on right now is in the US with abortion and teen
Mhm.
pregnancy and pregnancies just specifically. And so I thought maybe it was going to go that way. But what I found so interesting about this film, because you don't see it very often, is the perspective of the guy. You know, it doesn't just affect the woman, the girl,
Mhm.
it's two to tango, my friend, right? And so what was so refreshing was that, yeah, the guys go through some pretty serious stuff too. So I was wondering, after you read the script, after talking to Tony about it, because I know some of it was based, kind of on his life, some aspects of Sam. Did you research? Like, did you talk to pregnant fathers that, might have been going through something like that? I was just curious.
So there's a lot in that question that I would like to touch on. For
Sure.
starters, I did not reach out to any like young fathers or anything such as that. When we began production on the film, I was 19. I didn't have many people that I was close to that have, gone through this type of thing. However, I did look into the emotional aspects of it, be it through pop culture that I've seen in the past. Like you said, there are films and TV that kind of touch on this sort of storyline, and not as a means to copy that reaction, but kind of see what is the perspective of this, what
Yeah.
do these people go through, and more so than replicating what real world teenage fathers have gone through. I really wanted to focus on making it a story that was unique to this individual, because
Hmm.
while this may be a thing that is not necessarily uncommon, each person's situation is 100% unique. There is no situation in which the same events play out. So I wanted to make sure it was truly Sam's perspective on this situation and help Tony to create, this story that was so personal to him. But
Yeah.
you're right. This is a film that's completely about choice, and it is unfortunate that these conversations may not even have the air to breathe in today's political climate, depending on where you are.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there are a lot of dimensions to this film, and like you said, it is the male perspective, but there's almost some sort of juxtaposition that occurs, especially towards the end of the film, where Sam realizes it's the women in his life that have been supporting him this entire time. He was just
Exactly.
too
Yeah.
blind to really see it. So I think that whole progression, even going back to the first question, it's so beautiful to see that play out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you have some, strong co-stars in this. So, well, first let's talk about Devin. Like she's so adorable, honestly. But tell me a little bit about the bonding process with you, and how that worked and how it plays out, because it's a tense relationship.
Yeah, Devin's awesome. I mean, just an incredibly talented actress. It's an honor to have been in this with her. I think a lot of it has to do with the culture that was created on set. we're both professionals, and with Tony kind of creating a comfortable culture in which we could portray these difficult, uncomfortable situations, it made it a lot easier, you know. Like you said, though, this cast is just filled with talented people, and Devin is a shining light in the film, 100%. So it really was a pleasure, and I hope I get to work with Devin and the rest of the cast, you know, again in the near future.
Yeah, yeah, no, it really played out. Everybody was so good. You know, it's like I said to you earlier, it was hard to watch because he's put in this situation. Well, there's a lot going on with this guy. I don't want to give away too much in the interview. I don't want people to discover it as they watch the film. But there's so much going on with him, so many things that he has to deal with in his life. And then, you know, one thing that's on his mind is like, you know, finds out his girlfriend's pregnant, and his first reaction is like, I got to make money. Like, I got to help her. Like, I got to be there. I want to be responsible. Like, initially, he really is a good-hearted kid. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good guy, just falls into the wrong areas somewhere down the road here. And I was thinking, you know, sometimes I guess we feel it doesn't matter how good we are, we want to do the right thing, but sometimes we do the wrong thing. And he really does get messed up in that, you know. But it had to have been a bit of a challenge for you to play this guy, I think.
Yeah, there were definitely some challenging aspects, but that's the fun of it, you know.
Yeah.
I actively embrace any role that makes me kind of wander out of my comfort zone, because that's what being an actor is all about. So it was truly a blessing to get to experience all of those emotions from Sam's point of view, and hopefully it really reads through on the screen. But there really are a lot of different viewpoints, and Sam's heart is in the right place. It's just he's almost blind to the fact that he's not taking these steps correctly. He's following in the footsteps of this idol or icon, some would say, that he's created in his head, of his father. And this is what he knows. His father supported him when he was young by doing these things that he's only heard of in stories. So now Sam, in his mind, needs to embody that, because his dad had a lot of money from what he remembers. So, you know, he must have done something right. So for him to take the steps that he does, and like you said, I won't give too much away, it was just misguided.
Yes.
His heart was definitely in the right place, and there were some lessons to be learned.
Yeah, and the relationship with his mom too, because as you say, at the end of the day, it is the women in his life that really did support him, you know, and his mom did whatever she could, and there was reasons why she kept secrets, and you know, it's really interesting. It's a really well-written script, I think.
Absolutely. It's the script itself is just, it was incredible to read through for the first time. Like I said earlier, I knew I had to be a part of it. And what's beautiful about the entire process too is Tony is such a flexible director, in the sense that the script is malleable to an extent. So if we are going through rehearsals and something maybe doesn't flow like how we think it would flow from that character's mouth, then Tony's flexible to that and say, okay, let me hear how it sounds this other way. And we can kind of adjust it off that and take a couple of different takes and see what ends up playing the best, and kind of create the best take that there is possible through all of these different perspectives. So not only is the script very powerful, but it's Tony's ability to adapt as things kind of progress throughout the story that I think really makes it such a natural film.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to have a director like that, you know, takes your opinions and works with you guys, and you all learn from doing stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'd be on here for hours if I were to list off everything that Devin and Tony and everyone else have taught me while I was on this set. I'm relatively new. I've been acting all my life, but I haven't had the professional experience that both Tony and Devin had prior to this film. So, I mean, for them to be an open book for me to just learn from and kind of absorb and sponge in all of that information was awesome. And I really learned a lot from them, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, well, you did a really, really good job. You surprised me that you haven't done a lot of work before, because you did a really excellent job. So what's next? Have you started to, now you're living in Florida, correct? You live in Florida?
Yes, I am. I'm currently living in Orlando.
Yeah.
Where I end up is a bit up in the air, but right now I'm incredibly focused on finding representation. I don't currently have an agent. And I think to finding an agent that really fits my style and the roles that I'm looking for is something that's very important to me as of right now. I'm also focused on finishing college too. So
Good for
once
you.
I'm out of college at the end of this year, acting is where my heart is. So I really look forward to being able to embrace that with all of my time.
And what are you studying?
I'm currently studying hospitality and event management,
Oh, good. Well, yeah,
which,
that makes sense. That makes sense
yeah,
for Orlando. Absolutely.
yep, exactly. A lot of hotels, and it ties to
Yeah,
acting in the sense that you kind of have to be empathetic and everything as well. So
100%,
yeah.
100%. And what do your parents think about this acting gig?
Oh my gosh, they've just been so supportive. I mean, I know we're running out of time, but when I was
But
younger, I heard an ad on the radio for an acting school in Tampa, and
yeah,
they're like, "Okay, there you go. Like, go
good for
audition
you.
for it." And they've been supportive along the way, but they're not so tied up in it that they don't let me make my own decisions. So it's really
That's
been they've been
amazing.
incredibly supportive.
That is fantastic. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, Parker. Did a really good job in this film, and we will meet again. I promise. I know you're
Yes,
going to have more
absolutely.
for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bonnie.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.